Do you want to see how putting a different spin on something, to use some attention to detail to get you noticed in your shop, and maybe even doing some nicer stuff quicker? This is how I prefer to do fillet welds around a pipe. If it's done properly, it has all the strength and penetration it needs to, and it looks freaking awesome. So today, I'm gonna show you how I do it. I used to want to TIG weld in a shop where the real dime stackers got the really nice jobs to work on. There was this other TIG welder there who was amazing. She had been welding about 3 or 4 years more than me at this point, and she got all the jobs that I wanted to do so badly. So, although she was absolutely awesome to work with, I tried for so long to outdo her because I wanted all the flashy jobs. But after all the practice, I still couldn't get quite as good as I wanted to be. One joint I couldn't quite outdo her on was doing fillet welds around a pipe that was butted onto a plate like this. She was so good at it. I practiced for weeks and weeks, and no matter how much I tried, I could not catch up to her until one day. I used to have a Cadillac logo printed out on my toolbox. I don't remember where I even got it from. Certainly didn't drive a Cadillac at that time. But one thing I noticed when I was looking at it one day was this part right here. See how the direction splits and goes away from the center either way, making it look symmetrical? Click. Major light bulb went off. And once I got this idea, I put in hours of practice on my own time trying to get this one down. So let's break down how this one goes. We've obviously got one side of the joint that I can do normally. I'm a lefty, and taking a look at the other side, this would be the area that I would have to do right-handed. So because I wanted it bad enough, I got to work practicing, working on how to TIG weld with my weak hand. After practicing on this one, that one was tough. Lap welds, outside corners, fillet joints. I practiced a lot. Then one day, something else clicked. Instead of doing one side of the joint right-handed, why don't I just flip my hand like this? And all of a sudden, I'm welding from a completely different angle. Now, how I found out later on that this is called an overhand grip. So in doing it this new way, one half would be my normal underhand grip, and the other side would be the different way of doing it in an overhand grip. So I got back practicing overhand. It took a little bit, but after a while, I was able to do my overhand welding really good. At least I thought anyway. And really consistently. So now I had an advantage. Maybe my skills overall weren't quite as perfect as the girl that I was constantly trying to one up against. Friendly competition, by the way. She was awesome. But by using some creativity, I now had some style points that nobody else had. And once I was getting really consistent at doing these, and I was starting to use these direction changes on all kinds of stuff I was doing, I was starting to get all the pretty jobs to weld. She also quit around this time, I guess, but that's not the point. The point is, I finally got the nice stuff. But by using some creativity, following it up with a ton of hard work, not only did I learn a new skill, but going back to trying some of the things that originally were even harder, like welding with the wrong hand or learning something totally new. You want to know what the funniest part is? My regular boring old underhand welding got way better. Now teaching people both in person as well as my online TIG welding program. One thing I sometimes encourage students to do is switch things up. Make something a little more difficult or different. Whether trying something overhand or trying it with a weak hand, this is a great way to learn a new skill or buff up on some old ones. Okay, so as I am lighting up to weld around this pipe, the most crucial point is going to be the start, as always. I really want to make sure that I completely blend all of the filler material in for a proper start, and make sure that the bottom line is blended perfectly, and as I carry around the radius of the pipe, I maintain this line. Now picking up on the other side here is going to be even more important. I really want to get all of the filler material completely blended in so that it's consistent with the start of the other half. Again, I'm really watching the bottom line, which will be the side that's affected by gravity the most, and I'm making sure that this drops out and blends exactly the way I need before I start moving, so that when I start moving, this line is matched perfectly with the symmetry of the other half. This is really important. All right, taking a look at our final result here, we can see that for the most part, we have a symmetrical shape. Consistency to all of the stepping, good filler amount, and our profile shows the overall shape of the pipe really well. While going around a pipe one way always does and still looks awesome, throwing some style points on something like this also looks really awesome. If you can get really consistent to it, your work can turn heads and catch all kinds of good attention. This is about the same time in my shop I had a real chance to jump up the ladder and get a new, more challenging job that a lot of people wanted really badly. I had to learn a completely new joint for this one, and this one was very difficult. Again, if I wanted the top spot in the shop, I had to get this one in a hurry, or somebody else was gonna beat me to it. And let me tell you, the hard work spent on that one paid off big time. That episode is below in the description, check it out. Do a random act of kindness for a stranger today. for Pacific Arc TIG Welding. My name is Dusty. Bill and Chill. We'll talk soon. Peace.